Welcome back to another trade recap. Today is February the 13th. Absolutely fantastic day in the markets today. End up taking Nvidia previous day low retest towards the downside. Was done in the first 15 minutes of market open, which was absolutely fantastic. Great way to end off a shaky week, to say the least. Let's first hop right into exactly my trading statistics for the month so far. As you can see, up $67,000. Trade win percentage 66%. 12 wins, 6 losses. Profit factor 3.45. Daily win percentage 77%. Average win to loss ratio is 1.72. As you can see, this is my P&L graph right here. And for this week, I am only up $12,000. So the last week was absolutely fantastic. This week, as I mentioned, was quite shaky. We ended up having a really solid trades, but ultimately Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I ended up giving back a decent amount of profits just because I had too much of a bias towards the upside, of course. A lot of the setups I was taking was subpar. The execution was fairly solid, but the setups I was taking and just the overall context wasn't the greatest. But great way to end off the week and really solid start to start off the year. And of course, to start off this month. So, no complaints on my end. It is a holiday on Monday. So, no trades for Monday. Now, with this being said, let's hop right into the trades I ended up taking today. So, as I mentioned, very quick trade on Nvidia. I ended up taking the 185 puts towards the downside. Really quick trade in the markets, rejected off that previous day lows. Relative weakness as well. Qs was showing weakness right off the bat. I'm also going to be showing you guys the live session here in a second, but really it was just a classic previous day low retest, showed some weakness, and then we end up having that nice flush towards the downside. Market staying heavy. Nvidia ended up trading the 0-day contracts. These ones move super solid, about 150% in about 7 minutes. So absolutely fantastic way to end off the week, as I mentioned. Now let's go on to exactly the thought process coming into market open. Number one, the Qs game plan. Let's actually go on to the pre-market game plan. Let me pull this up. So the pre-market game plan coming into today here, as you can see, coming to market open, we just had CPI with the overall markets bouncing off lows. What I like to see coming to market open is the pop and fade towards the downside. My levels for the SPY, 683.50, Qs 604. As for my main watches, Tesla, AMD, Nvidia off previous day lows. Other names I like for pop and fade, Apple and Palantir. I mentioned today I'm going to be cautious within the first 15 minutes of market open. The pop and fade is in play or shorts underneath previous day lows. So as you can see, really the game plan coming to market open was our previous day low short. So we're looking for the pop and fade or the shorts underneath our previous day lows. And you can see overall market staying heavy. Pop here with CPI, but as long as the markets can stay heavy, we're looking for continuation towards the downside. So as you can see right off the bat, a little bit of buyers defending our previous day lows, but as soon as we broke underneath, we end up having that nice push down in towards that 596. The game plan here for Nvidia was keeping an eye out on our previous day lows. And as you can see, within the first 1 minute, broke underneath that previous day lows, and now we're just looking for the retest off our 186 for a continuation lower. So as you can see right here, broke underneath it within the first few minutes, rejection here, showing relative weakness compared to the overall market. As Nvidia is rejecting here off our previous day lows, as I mentioned, now we're just looking for a continuation towards the downside. So you can see rejection here. That could have been an initial entry. I was waiting for a little bit more confirmation on the Qs, but as soon as this candle showed some weak price action, this is basically exactly where I got in. Stop just to break above. Now I'm looking for a continuation towards the downside. As for targets, the key levels I had for Nvidia towards the downside, I had a couple key targets here. Number one, I had your Monday's lows, and I also had your pre-market level here from Monday as well. So those were my main profit targets for Nvidia towards the downside. And then I also had some other levels here as well. But basically, as you can see, perfect rejection right off the bat and really solid push right towards the downside. Scaled majority of my position down towards that 182. And then end up cutting it as soon as it broke back above this order block. With the Qs, we end up having that V shape, which you guys will see, of course, in the live session. But yeah, basically that was it for today. Really quick kind of recap. I'm going to show you guys my live trading session here as well. As I mentioned, This was definitely a little bit more of a difficult week. I'm glad I was able to end off the week strong. We do have a market holiday on Monday, so there's going to be no trading on Monday, but I'll see you guys all on Tuesday. All right, take care, everyone. Peace. So there's a couple things that we can be looking for coming to market open. The main thing here is understanding the cues, previous day lows, and seeing the reaction that we have off those lows. All right, cues right at our previous day lows here. Let's keep an eye out on the QQQ. If we break underneath our previous day lows, then we're going to be leaning a little bit more towards the downside right off the bat. Let's keep an eye out on Apple along with Palantir. So far, getting a little bit of buyers here on the QQQ. Let's see the reaction that we have off this previous day lows. Let's keep an eye out on Apple and Palantir here for a potential immediate retest towards the downside. I would like to see Apple underneath previous day lows. And then similar thing here with Palantir. I'd like to see it underneath previous day lows as well. Okay, we're right at our previous day lows here. We're having a little bit of buyers actually stepping in here on the QQQ right off this 599.50. So as I mentioned, if you do want to look for some downside, we need Qs underneath this previous day lows. Some buyers stepped in on Palantir off your previous day lows, Apple right at our previous day lows here as well. This one's showing a little bit more weakness compared to the overall markets. Now for Apple, let's keep an eye out. Let's see if we can close underneath previous day lows. Potentially, you can look for some sort of previous day low retest on Apple for continuation lower. But so far, you can see a little bit of buyer step in. We need a candle closure underneath. Plus, we personally like to see the Qs underneath this 599.50. SPY is also defending your previous day lows here as well. So we would need that underneath previous day lows if you want to see continuation lower. Okay, a couple aggressive buyers stepping in here on Nvidia, sorry, on AMD along with Tesla. The names that are the weakest, if the Qs does want to reject and get underneath our previous day lows, we'll keep an eye out on Nvidia along with Apple. But we like to see the Qs underneath our previous day lows here. Let's keep an eye out on Nvidia here. This one, a little bit of reaction here off our previous day lows. If we can get weak price action here, I'm interested in Nvidia. Apple now back underneath their previous day lows here as well. Nvidia, what I'm looking at here is the 185 puts. Look at the 185 puts here on Nvidia. Let's see if Qs can get underneath this previous day lows. That's key here. Qs underneath previous day lows. What I'm going to be waiting for, I need to see the Qs break underneath their previous day lows here if I'm going to look to enter in Nvidia. As for Apple, this one's also now underneath their previous day lows as well. We can keep an eye out for Apple previous day low retest. All right, keep an eye on Nvidia here. Okay, Nvidia, I'm going to try some of the 185 puts here on Nvidia. The 185 puts on Nvidia with the QQQ. This one is rejecting here off our previous day lows. If the Qs does want to break underneath, it's staying heavy. Nvidia and Apple, I do expect to lead towards the downside. I took some of the 185 puts here on Nvidia, looking for low of day plus continuation towards the downside. Nice rejection so far. My first take profit is going to be down into this 184.50 and this 184, which is basically the low that we created here for this week. Qs, let's see if we can get this rejection here. Nvidia, as you can see, leading towards the downside. Yeah, these contracts are moving nice here. There's that Qs break if you can get it here as well. Perfect. Look at that Qs break. Scaling first profit into this 184 here on Nvidia. Qs also breaking here as well. Qs, nice drop. Candle close underneath our previous day lows. Nvidia and Apple are the weakest tickers here. If you're playing 0 days, right, scale some down into this 184. Qs, we like to see the rejection here now off this previous day lows. We had that candle closure. Now we like to just see it stay heavy underneath this previous day lows here. All right, Qs right at our previous day lows. Let's see if we reject off this level. Q, so far sellers are stepping in. Nvidia about to approach our Monday's lows here. Apple, another one off our previous day lows. Nice rejection here on the Qs. Nvidia approaching this Monday's low here. Contracts up $1 contract. All right, Nvidia, I'm out 70% of my position, or I'm out at least majority of my position here now on Nvidia. Now I'm just holding trailers on the zeros, but you can see perfect rejection right there on the Qs. Nvidia perfectly off our previous day lows. Now I'm just gonna bar by bar it here on the 1 minute time frame. Super solid entry. There's that Qs rejection there as well. Apple. Next level on Apple 258. Next level on Nvidia 183. Yeah, super solid move down on Nvidia. Those 185 puts now from basically $1.30-ish to now they're at 250. Now we just like to see it maintain up close candles. I'm just kind of scaling along out the way now since I'm playing the 0-day contracts. But there's that nice flush coming to market open, right? There's that pop and fade on the spine cues that we wanted, which was nice. Nvidia moving next key target here, 183. Yeah, beautiful drop there. $3 a contract, super solid. Qs maintaining weakness here. Next level here on the Qs, 259. Sorry, 596. SPY next level here. Yeah, beautiful drop. Look at that. Yeah, scaling more here on Nvidia as it just drops here. Qs is back into a higher time frame key level support. As I mentioned, we're in a good spot here. 0-day contracts up very nicely. We're just gonna kind of trail our position along with the SPY and Qs as long as it just continues to show weakness. SPY underneath now that previous day lows, Qs underneath that previous day lows. Nvidia end up having a really solid previous day low retest right off that 186.50. But yeah, those super solid contracts. The 185 push just hit 340 a con, which is super solid. As I mentioned, now Qs is in a key level support. I'm just in a trailer position here now. I'm in Nvidia. I'm just holding my remaining position. I'm just gonna look to either bar by bar it or right. I potentially might hold for this up close candle, which is all the way back up and towards this 184.50. I don't really want to see Nvidia gravitate back higher, but as I mentioned, right, Qs back. I actually wouldn't be surprised if potentially get some mini V-shaped recovery here on the Q. So that's what I'm cautious of, right? We end up having a big drop yesterday. We had that opening flush towards the downside here on the spine Qs, right? Make sure to take some profits on that opening flush. And now for the spine Qs, as I mentioned, I'm a little bit cautious of a potential V shape, right? As long as we maintain underneath previous day lows, I'm going to maintain a bearish stance, but we hit our major take profit levels, which is that 596 here on the Qs. Yeah, you can see some buyers stepping in there right off that 596. Yeah, that technically was your bar by bar there as well. I'm just going to give it a little bit more wiggle room, but that technically was your bar by bar on Nvidia, just kind of right back up and towards our previous day lows here. As for Nvidia, the rest of my remaining is just going to be for this up close candle right here. Qs right at your previous day lows here as well. So if Qs reclaims back above, then I'm just going to end up cutting the trailers here on Nvidia. But yeah, there you can see some aggressive buyers stepping in. So as I mentioned, yeah, look at I was cautious of this V shape, so that's why I scaled aggressively on Nvidia. As I mentioned, right, there's a potential V shape that could happen here with, right, big drop, big push down yesterday. We had that opening drive. Now you can see some buyers are stepping in. As for Nvidia, I'd just like to see it maintain this down up close candle, 183, 184 here. Yeah, Q's kind of reclaiming back above here. Most likely gonna end up cutting the rest of my position here. Yeah, cutting my rest of my position here on Qs on Nvidia. As I mentioned, I was very cautious of this V-shaped recovery. I only had a remaining trailer position, but you can see how fast these contracts move. They basically went from right 140, 150-ish all the way up into 350, and then the remaining trailers on zeros. You got to be cautious. These ones are actually back at in a very small profit compared to that entry point. But yeah, there's that V-shaped recovery I talked about. So now we're going to be a little bit more hands off, but that was the trade of the day. Nice rejection, opening flush. Really just went down in a straight line once we broke underneath. Now you just want to be a little bit more cautious here.